A long time ago, in a land who knows where, a man found himself atop of a tree and began a journey into the world. And this man, he had no name. At least, he wasn't sure if he had a name or not. He was not a very intelligent man. Some called him John, others Bill. Even once, he was called Jebediah. But he liked wood. Harvesting it, in fact, brought him great relief in life, for he was getting on in years. And as the years went by, the harvest grew more and more difficult. He moved from birch to oak to elm to every living thing under the sun. Every living thing. He did not know always what to make of the world around him. Unfortunately, this man, for now, we shall call him John. For today, that is his name, John. For today, John was feeling quite hungry. In his hunger, he decided that sheep were going to die. But those sheep, they were magical sheep, and they cursed him. A terrible, terrible curse. You see, John now had cancer. Oh, John, whatever has happened to you? One day, on his journey, John came across a magical rose bush. He didn't know it was magical at the time. He just walked up to it. However, he soon realized that all was not as it seemed when the rosebush spoke. "Hello, John," said the rosebush. "I see that you have cancer." "Yes," says John. "I do have cancer. Is there anything you can do for me?" "Well," says the rosebush, "if you climb the mountain over yonder and bring me back an apple tree, I may grant your wish." Now John, not being very intelligent, did not actually know what an apple tree was. He also did not realize that it was the rose in his inventory that had been speaking to him this whole time, and that he was indeed carrying said magic rosebush with him wherever he went. So he began his journey for the magic apple tree. He assumed it was magical. It was a magical talking rosebush after all, sent him on a journey. Bah! But he continued, nevertheless, striding day and night, looking for, petunias. Also easily distracted, and not really knowledgeable of the world, he mistook peonies for petunias, and decided to gather them on his quest. His quest for an apple tree. Little did he know how far it would take him, where he would go. Who really knows these things? I know I don't. I'm just a narrator. Hello, everyone, I am a narrator. I don't really know what I'm narrating. More of a story, rather. Regardless. John, was it John? I believe his name was John. As I said before, not too bright. He decided that instead of apple trees, which he had completely forgotten why he was searching for them in the first place, he would seek out new life and new civilizations. Whatever that means. "What was that?" asked John. "I am the voice in the wind." Startled by this new development and voice in the wind, John decided to run away from wherever he heard the voice from. It didn't take very long, and I came across a hole. Hello, good sir. Can I interest you in some brains? No, I am not interested in your brains, good sir. It was a brain salesman. A brain salesman are the worst kind of salesman. He hemmed and he hawed, and eventually Johnny gave in and purchased a brain. It cost him 3 shiny sparkles, but he received a new brain. Which was probably for the best because, as we have said and covered many times, John was not very intelligent. So unintelligent to the fact where, thinking it was the best method and use of the brain, he ate it. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. To this day, we still do not know. Bah. However, the sheep cried in fear and terror as he massacred them, one by one. Johnny massacred the sheep. But then their guardian came out. The guardian Azumba. "Why have you messed with my sheep?" said Azumba. "These are my brethren." "No," said Johnny. "I shall murder your brethren with a shiny sharp stick." "No! No!" Johnny slew Azumba. And with such, he took his brain to absorb his power. Delicious power brains. Johnny absorbed the power of Zumba and became the guardian of the sheep. And to this day, he has not killed another sheep, for instead, he is their guardian and sworn protector, as when you consume something, you become a part of it, and he is now part Azumba. However, he was not part cow, and he was quite hungry. Johnny Azumba, the newly formed sheep guardian, was a killer of cows, the sworn enemy of the sheep race. The war had been raging for many a decade, with deaths, atrocious deaths, and atrocities, atrocious atrocities, on both sides. Many had been slain, many more would be slain. It was Johnny Azumba's sworn duty to protect the sheep and to slay the evil cows that plagued the land. They were everywhere, these cows. But for Johnny's new sword, mighty sword, Felicity, the cows were no match, and they fell before him one by one. It was on the hill of death, of cow death, where Johnny built an altar to remember the slain sheep. He named the altar John Ashanan, which means bah humbug in sheep talk. We're still not sure why he named it this. It was quite indeed peculiar. But on this hill, this mighty hill, as the day slowly came to a close, Johnny Azumba prayed to the sheep gods for forgiveness.